Remember, breathe. You're not alone. You can get help. And once you start to utilize self-care, healthy coping mechanisms, whether that looks like going to the spa, going to the beach, getting up from your table at work, just to get some fresh air, it does help, and it does begin the journey or start to pave the way for your healing. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode. My name is Chantal Monroe, your trauma-informed counselor and Christian life coach. Today we are diving into the profound connection between childhood experiences, trauma, and the development of lifestyle diseases in adults. Whew! Join me as we explore the groundbreaking finds from the Adverse Children Experience Study and the implications on our health. Now, the Adverse Childhood Experience Study conducted by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention examined the correlation between childhood trauma and various health outcomes in adulthood. The results shed some light on the long-term effects and impacts of adverse childhood experiences on our physical and mental well-being. According to the ACE's findings, individuals who experience traumatic events during childhood, such as abuse, neglect, or household dysfunction, are at a significantly higher risk of developing a wide range of health issues later on in life. These health conditions include but are not limited to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and even early mortality, which is dying young. And we see a lot of that happening today for unknown reasons. Like you'll hear people say certain things like, oh, but how a child die from? So let's look at the statistics. Let's take a closer look at some of the statistics from the ACE's findings. It says that adults with 4 or more adverse childhood experiences are significantly more likely to be diagnosed with chronic diseases such as heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and even stroke. Raise your hands if you knew that. I never knew that. Individuals with a history of childhood trauma are more than twice as likely to be diagnosed with depression compared to those without such experiences. Childhood trauma is associated with a higher prevalence of risk health behaviors such as smoking, alcoholism, drug abuse, and unprotected sex, which further exacerbates the risk of these diseases. So the question is, how does unhealed trauma contribute to the development of lifestyle diseases in adults? Let's dive into it. Unhealed trauma triggers chronic stress responses in our body, leading to the dysfunction of the nervous system, the endocrine and immune systems. This dysfunction can manifest in various ways, including inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and compromised immune system. I know it's a lot to take in, but we need to know the things so that we can get the help that we need to live healthier lives as adults. And so you can understand why you are the way you are. It might not be because you stay so, but because of an experience that you've had to encounter when you were a child. So these psychological changes increases the susceptibility to lifestyle diseases, contributing to the metabolic dysfunctions and insulin resistance, which leads to obesity and diabetes. When there is an elevation in blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and heart rate, it increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases. That is simply a fancy way of saying heart diseases, like heart attack. When the immune system is weak, it reduces our body's ability to resist infections and combat cancerous cells. Some serious something, because when the immune system is also weak, you get sick more often, and that's not good. Exacerbating mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety, which can lead to maladaptive, unhealthy coping behaviors such as substance abuse and overeating or undereating. Some serious stuff when trauma is not dealt with, when trauma is not healed. Because think of an athlete, for example. When an athlete is warming up or going to a run, the coach will tell them you need to warm down or you need to stretch after doing some aggressive exercise. What happens if you don't do that? You must get tense. And what's that thing they call it? Muscle contract. Muscle contract happens and they'll tell you need to rub it out, man. There's a hormone that's released in your body when you experience trauma or stress. And when it's pent up inside the walls of your body, it starts to release itself in ways that is unhealthy. Like we described earlier, lack of sleep, anxiety, irritability, all of the things that can lead to your body eventually dysfunctioning, and we don't want that. Fortunately, healing from childhood trauma and preventing its long-term consequences is possible, and you're not alone. By acknowledging past experiences, seeking therapy, accepting healthy coping mechanisms, and building support relationships, individuals can mitigate the impact of trauma on their health and well-being. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode where we explore the profound link between childhood experiences, trauma, and the development of lifestyle diseases. Remember, breathe. You're not alone. You can get help. And once you start to utilize self-care, healthy coping mechanisms, whether that looks like going to the spa, going to the beach, getting up from your table at work, just to get some fresh air, it does help and it does begin the journey or start to pave the way for your healing. So until next time, take care of yourself and others. Bye.